Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to this week's episode of Listening and Responding. I'm so excited to dig a little bit deeper into what Colby talked about on Sunday. Psalm 23, we're in the chapter of the shepherd, of the good shepherd, as written by David, and Colby was digging into verse 2. And so verse 1, of course, is the Lord is my shepherd, I shall not want. And verse 2 starts with, he makes me lie down in green pastures. And I love how Colby shared, like, what a beautiful Lord, right? What a beautiful Lord. Our Lord is so amazing to be our shepherd, and the context and the imagery of these verses, and there's so much more to explore, are absolutely amazing. So Colby shared with us that it's nearly impossible for a sheep to lie down, which I found fascinating. And this fact, I've been kind of, been ruminating over it and thinking about it actually all week, because he shared it with me earlier in the week. And sheep actually need to be totally free from fear to be able to lie down. And so they need to be free from external factors that create fear, so predators and their environment. They need to be free from friction amongst their other sheep friends. They need to be free from torment, from pests and flies and worms. And sheep have this problem that the flies lay eggs in their nose areas, and then there's worms, and they can be really irritated by all of those things. And they also need to be free from hunger. And then Colby asked, do sheep ever lay down? It seems that they might be fearful all the time. So how can a shepherd actually control all those things? That's a lot of fears to navigate with a herd of sheep. And so Colby reminded us his presence and his care provide freedom from fear and from tension and from pests and from hunger. And when the sheep are dealing with friction or tension amongst themselves, sheep are known to want, the best grazing spot where there's the best grass, or the best shaded area where they can rest. So if a smaller sheep or even a younger sheep is in this place that the older sheep or the bigger sheep wants, they get all puffed up and they walk over to the other sheep and they butt them. They butt them out of the way. It's just this interesting picture. I can just see this little sheep flying across the ground. So they can get very aggravated with one another when they want what they want. And so this shepherd, Philip Keller, that we've been reading his book on, it's a shepherd's look at Psalm 23. So as a teaching team, we're going through this book as well to give us context of what David was saying as a shepherd. So Philip Keller was a shepherd in Africa in very traditional ways, of which David would have been as a shepherd when he was shepherding the sheep. And so he shares all kinds of stories about sheep. And so when they're aggravated with each other, when there's tension amongst the flock, they will, once the shepherd comes on the scene, so when he makes his way and they recognize that he's there, the shepherd Philip shared that it's like they just immediately calm down once he's present with them. It's like they forget what their fight was all about, and they don't need to worry about getting their place, because the shepherd, he's going to take care of it. He's going to care for them and make sure they have the food and the shade, and they are content. So it's a beautiful thing that the shepherd does by being present. And it's only the shepherd that can release us from fear. As sheep, or a sheep that is restless and aggravated, they don't do well. They don't thrive well. So the shepherd's presence and his care is so key to the health of the flock. So yesterday, Sunday afternoon, I had an opportunity to talk with my folks, my parents, who live out in Alberta. And the very first thing they asked me was, how are you doing? And I was like, I'm doing well. I'm enjoying my afternoon. It's lovely here on PEI. And they both said, oh, they were like, we're not doing so well. And I was like, oh no, what happened? And so they were sharing that they've been blindsided and we don't know what to think or do with something in their lives. And so we chatted for a while, and we ended up looking at this difficult situation that they were facing through the lens of the Good Shepherd. Just that reminder that he is present. He knows what they're facing, and he will care, and he'll guide them, because he cares about what is causing them fear and stress. He's right in the middle of it. He's present. And as I shared a few weeks ago, he's pressing in on the earth. He's not far away. He's present. He's right in the middle of what we're facing. And so he will help my folks. He'll help my parents find peace, because he is peace. And he promises that for all of us. He's present. He is the one that brings peace. And it doesn't mean that the situation will instantly get better or easier, but he will be there as their guide and support. And the same with us. It's his presence that changes everything, because when the shepherd's on the scene, we are at rest. And so that is what we have with all that we face, is we have the shepherd. So when my parents and I ended the call, they were so much more at peace and reminded that they didn't need to worry, but to trust and to call out to the Good Shepherd for help. He's so present with them. And we all need that reminder. No matter what you're facing, the Shepherd, Jesus, is present. So I just want to encourage you this week to practice living the examined life. If you recall, I shared a bit about this during communion on Sunday. When we are feeling things, whether it's fear, like I just talked about with the sheep, anxiety, anger, sadness, bring those feelings, those things that you're carrying, bring them to Jesus and ask him about them. Like, what is happening inside of me that is causing me to be afraid right now? Or what is happening inside of me that's causing me to be angry right now, or sad or anxious? What is happening in me? And some of you will find that you'll want silence to do that, to just be still and to be silent. But for some of you, you hear best in the day-to-day movements of your life. And so I'll just encourage you to hold those questions before Jesus throughout your day. What's happening? What's happening inside of me? And allow his presence to help you see what it is and to help you to return to experiencing rest and contentment. Allow yourself to return to experiencing his peace and his joy and coming back to yourself. When we're feeling agitated and when we're feeling discontentment, when we're feeling not at rest, something's wrong. Something's happening inside of us. And Jesus, the Good Shepherd, knows how to care for those things in us. And so we are called to live our lives in union and communion with Jesus, with the Good Shepherd. We are to bring everything to him. You know, it was funny because when I was talking with my parents, my dad, who is now a retired rancher, but he had herds of cows. He has some knowledge of sheep, but limited. But he knew that they're very needy. Was his comment. Very needy. He said to care for sheep. Ensure that they're healthy and doing well. The shepherd had to be amongst them a lot. Like he said, it's very demanding and compared to cattle ranching. And he said, you know what? He said they can't even have babies on their own. He said cattle can, but he's like sheep, they are just really challenging, and they need help, they need support. And I laughed and I said, just like us, just like humans, we need support, we need help. We can't be left on our own. We just make a mess of everything. And to think that Jesus, he loves that about us. He doesn't turn away and say, oh, you're too much to deal with. That's too much work. He's actually drawn to that in us. And he's such an amazing God that he's like, no, I want to come in and I want to be with you. And I'm so patient. He's so patient with us. And he doesn't think that we're too much work. So this week, I just want to encourage you to come to Jesus with all the things that you're facing and to watch how he changes your internal world and how you're feeling and seeing things in front of you when you're in communion and union with him and asking him about what you are facing. Watch how it changes you inside. Watch how you feel and how you interact differently. Be present with the shepherd who is so present with you and experience what that really looks like. Observe yourself. Examine what's happening in you. Pay attention to those movements. And, you know, I want to encourage you, give up resisting that you need help. Give up your independence and you're striving to figure it out on your own. I can do this. And instead experience the affection and the care of the Good Shepherd that, you know, he's, like I said, he's so patient. He's so caring. He knows exactly what you require, more so than you do. And so just turn to him. So have just a week that you're so present with Jesus. I just want to encourage you to do that. So enjoy your week as you're learning to trust the shepherd. And this coming Sunday, Josh Hoffert's going to dig into verse 2, the second line, and he's going to talk about what it is to be led by still waters. What does that mean? And what does that look like for us walking in the world today. So bless you and enjoy your week, and we'll talk to you soon. Bye.